Hey, today I'm going to do a Q&A because lots of people write questions in the comments. If you have any, write them down. Maybe I'll see them. If you want to be sure that I see them, send them to my email. Link is in the description. And, if I have something to say to them, I might get to you and we can talk about whatever it is that you are wondering about with bold action. So these are going to be the questions that I'm going to talk about. Right. The first one here is, Bo, can you make a video explaining the purpose of each platoon in a rock, paper, scissors fashion? If there is any. I cannot figure out the purpose of a regular platoon. Yes, I will do that at some point. Right now, everything is up in the air because the meta hasn't solidified it yet. We don't know how version 3 is going to play. I can give you my initial ideas, and I think that artillery platoons are there to form gun lines. And a good counter to an artillery platoon is indirect fire from a heavy weapons platoon, for instance. So you use your spotters and mortars to shoot at those fixed artillery pieces, right? And those artillery pieces are really good at stopping anything that's coming straight at them. So that would be like very movable infantry, regular platoons, or just rifle platoons. Maybe potentially even armored platoons. Whoa, sorry. My mic just got knocked over. Maybe even armored platoons. Now, armored platoons are going to be really good against infantry. They were much better in version 2, but they are really good against infantry. And the rifle platoons, which is where most of the infantry is at, right? They are good for taking objectives. They are good for actually pushing up, which your artillery platoon can't do, which your heavy weapons platoon is going to struggle to do. So if you want to move, and you have to, then you need your rifles, right? Like you, I'm struggling a little bit with the recce platoon, but I'm also struggling with the engineer platoon. Now, the engineers in traditional bold action version 2 were there to be just massively destructive, what I call barbecue lists, right? And that doesn't seem to work as well anymore. So maybe engineers with flamethrowers or SMGs is now a counterpunch unit. So something that can punch whatever moves forward. And you're sort of seeing that everything I'm saying here, all the platoons can sort of, except the recce platoon, can sort of punch anything that moves forward. That's why I'm afraid that this might bog down into gunline armies. That's why I'm afraid of this version of the game actually doing that. So, yes, I will return to this as soon as we have data, as soon as we've seen a couple of tournaments, as soon as I have the experience to be able to talk about this from an experience point. Right now, we're just all thumping our way through the dark, right? And we're all where you are at. We cannot figure it out. Next question. Given that bars are now 6 points each and no longer benefit from fire and maneuver or contribute extra shots to fire and maneuver, do you think they're worth it? No, I don't. How many should you take? Are they best used with inexperienced, regulars, or veterans? I think they're okay with regulars, better on veterans, and not worth it on inexperienced troops. Yes, always. Now, and the next question is basically also about BARs and why you wouldn't take an LMG instead. Are bars no longer worth bringing? That's the whole point here. I think we're at a point where we have to figure out whether they are so. Because an LMG, you can move and fire that as well, so you got range, and you got more range than the BAR, right? So you get extra shots and you get extra range. And I think that's more valuable. I think actually we're at a point where the BARs, even though they're 6 points, so less than half of an LMG. I think actually the LMGs are better at this point. Because the BARs were really where it was at for the Americans, especially because they had that rifle rule, so they could actually benefit from that. Now, not so much. And this second questioner has built the whole Perry kit with as many BARs as you could. Oh, that sucks. And the Perry kit is so lovely. Oh, that sucks. I'm so sorry. Dude, you know what? I built like 40 partisans with pistols, and now they're freaking useless. We're all sitting there just breaking off arms on our models at this point, right? That's I'm sorry. Just keep them around in case the BARs come back at some point. But right now, I think I would rather have the rifles and the LMGs. That's where I'm at. Then we have this one. Interested to hear your thoughts on how to run Japanese in this edition, the changes to assaults, fanatic, banzai, and the removal of the infiltrator special rule. That, and waiting for 2026 to get some more interesting units back, I feel like the only options are hope to play early war only and make use of your veterans, mortar spam with grenadiers, light mortars being cheaper and they're not. I don't think they're gonna get access to the spotters. Everything in me tells me that is rules as written versus rules as intended. I think the rules as intended is that anything that cannot buy a spotter cannot use a spotter. And the dreaded and not terribly fun Kempetai and Bamboo. Maybe a couple of militias are okay. Yes, I think for of all the armies that we are seeing, Japanese are in for the biggest shock with version 3. They are massively changed because they cannot do what they used to doing. Now, does that mean you cannot use your light close combat troops anymore? No, you can, but they are going to die. Like in version 2, you could be lucky and you could overwhelm your opponent with a horde of inexperienced dudes and you could just charge him out, right? But in version 3, that is not going to happen anymore. You're going to get shot at from turn 1 and you're going to die. And most likely you're going to get pinned down so much in your own deployment zone that you are going to struggle to move up. It is going to be a little easier with the banzai rule, but that only works if you're in charge range. So that sucks. Yeah, I don't know where Japanese is going to be, how they're going to be run yet. I need to see data. I need to see tournaments. I need to see how people are building their lists before I can give you a true answer to this. But yeah, I think you've accurately pointed to the two places where we can see stuff. We can see stuff with veterans shifting over in playstyle to something that resembles all the other armies, right? Veterans and shooting units and just, yeah. Or mortars, grenadiers with light mortars and even light, medium, heavy mortars in an artillery, heavy weapons platoon. That, I think, is where we're going to see most Japanese players start. I would also suggest that maybe there is something in the Japanese tank platoons. Now, the tanks are frankly crap. The armor is still crap. But everyone's tanks are crap now. And you do get some tanks that have HE. So maybe there's something there. Right. That was it from me today. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.